Why the rainbow and black communities are always grouped together. This is the unspoken why. Welcome back to the unspoken why. All right, so this video is for anyone who genuinely wants to know why the rainbow community and black community are always grouped together by not just our government, the US government, and white extremist groups, white supremacist groups. And I'm not talking about every single white person in the world. I'm talking about the racist, hateful, white extremist white people, okay? Also the Democrats, the Republicans, and even the rainbow community themselves. Now, I can't say the legit name of this community throughout the video as it will get flagged. YouTube is very sensitive regarding this, even for people in this community making videos about themselves. If they say the acronym for this community, the video will get flagged. So since they adopted the rainbow flag, I'm going to refer to them as the rainbow community. All right, so this video is also for those who are often hurt and offended by this misalignment comparing 250 plus years of inhumanity to sexual rights. Okay, this video is for clarity and also a disclaimer. I got to get this out, guys. This video is not for purposeful or intentional bashment of the rainbow community, but as a Christian, my views are influenced by the Most High, aka Yeshua, Yahweh, Jesus Christ. Y'all know his names. So if his views offend you, then parts of this video will offend you. And if you cannot hear anything but things that agree with your way of thinking and living, then this video is not for you and you should just drop off now. Okay, so this is my disclaimer. So before I get into my points, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and click that bell for notifications so you don't miss the next Unspoken Why video. So let's get into it, guys. Why do almost every time they mention black, they mention rainbow in the same sentence or conversation? And what is the intention behind this? So the first reason comes from the white extremists themselves, okay? The white extremists, these paramilitary groups, these people that proclaim to be supremacists, okay? They see our existence as black people, our lifestyles, our communities, and total existence as the exact same as the rainbow community. Okay, but the black family, man, woman, and child simply existing is not the same as two men dating or two women who are married or a person who changes their gender verbally or physically. Those two realities have no relation. The black family, man, woman, and child moving into the neighborhood does not change the way that your children view a traditional family. It just changes the way that they see and view black people, as eventually the kids play together and become friends. Also, black people simply wanting the right to exist as we were born in our natural state from God in every way, shape, and form, originally with no enhancements of any kind, is not the same fight that the rainbow community has. No traditional values are eroded from true black liberation in America, except for racism and white supremacy, as those are values that we all know are held dear here. So in the Bible, God created Eve from Adam's rib to be his companion and a helper, quote, suitable for him to be, quote, fruitful and multiply. So women, we were made for men, truly. So based on the Bible, the black family, man, woman, and child is living by biblical principles, God's teachings, values, and purposes, and the natural order of life, how 99.9% of people on the earth got here, which has no alignment with the rainbow community and what they stand for. But in the mind of the white extremists and the white supremacists, the truth is we are beasts and the rainbow community are freaks. And we are both, quote, unnatural and, quote, othered. And by making us synonymous with one another, that is their way to, quote, other us, to further prevent our human rights from ever truly being accepted in society by aligning our mere humanity with unnatural biblical order. All right, y'all still there? I know it's in 2025. I know it's a lot for people to take in. But if the kitchen's too hot, let's just jump out, okay? Because the heat is here to stay. The heat just got started. All right. So the second reason why the rainbow and black communities are always grouped together. Now, the second reason comes from the rainbow community themselves. Now, the rainbow community rode the coattails of the women's rights movement, which rode the coattails of the civil rights movement. Once we got our rights, everyone else was jumping on board to get their rights, which I honestly do understand. And I'm going to jump into a little bit of research and facts on this from the wonderful ChatGPT. By the way, please make sure you're using ChatGPT, guys. Really, it's great for research. It really is. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but there were several people from the rainbow community involved in the civil rights movement. Key figures were like Bayard Rustin, who I believe they made a movie about him on Netflix, Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson, Del Martin, Phyllis Lyon. These were all people that were a part of that community that were involved in the civil rights and women's rights movement. A lot of these people from this community learned tactics from the civil rights movement, the marches, the lobbying, the legal challenges, the consciousness raising, okay? And they actually helped frame the rainbow community rights as a part of the broader fight for equal protection under the law, connecting it to civil rights and women's rights. So I'm going to go through a brief timeline with you. So in 1952, okay, in 1952, homosexuality was classified as a mental disorder by the American Psychiatric Association. In 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, Supreme Court banned school segregation. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed. And then in 1965, the Voting Rights Act was passed. And then in 1969, the Stonewall riots sparked modern rainbow rights movements. And then in the 1970s, okay, in 1973, the APA, American Psychiatric Association, removes homosexuality from the DSM, so reclassifying it as not a mental disorder. And then after the work that they put in behind the scenes with the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement in 1973, they were able to get that removed from the APA DSM that says that it's a mental disorder. And then in the 1990s, the APA removes gender identity disorder in children. Transgender identities remain classified. In 1993, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was enacted for the rainbow community and military service. And then in 2004, Massachusetts legalized same-sex marriage. Okay, in 2010, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. And then in 2015 was one of their biggest breakthroughs. Obergefell versus Hodges legalizes same-sex marriage nationwide. And then transgender rights gain visibility and legal attention. All right, guys, so that is the timeline. And then some quick percentage stats for you. 9.3% as of a Gallup 2024 survey, 9.3% of U.S. adults identify as rainbow, okay? And 5.2% of those people claim bisexuality, 2% claim gay, 1.4% claim lesbian, 1.3% claim transgender. So they're estimating that 31.7 million people claim to be a part of the rainbow community, and there are about 340 million people in the United States. All right, so now you know a little bit of the history, the facts, the stats. Now, where the conflict arises is in order for the rainbow community to push their agenda, because it's already been established. So in order for them to push their agenda forward is to align with 100% legitimate grievance, which is the Black American experience here in America. The Black American grievance is the most legitimate, unresolved grievance in America. 250 plus years of slavery, Jim Crow, redlining used as human lab rats to advance modern medicine in America, high maternal death rates, school to prison pipeline, fought in every war but never honored as such, no reparations of any kind, reinforced daily abuse, if not mentally and spiritually, then physically, by the over policing of our bodies and neighborhoods. You see, the rainbow agenda is not strong or convincing, standing on its own merits and values. So, for them to align themselves to our struggle, they are aligning themselves to the most influential people in America, as well as the most aggrieved people in America. But this is intentional and, of course, dangerous for us. As when we try to get anything done, people in the dominant society assume we are trying to promote the rainbow agenda and values, which majority of the time is not true. Or worse, when our legit groups and activists get hijacked by this group's ideals and propaganda, and then you look up and we're no longer fighting for our humanity, but instead people's sexual preferences and proclivities. All right? Okay, number three. Number three is twofold. The Republicans use this tactic of grouping the black and rainbow communities together to manipulate mostly their own people to vote against their own interests. But because their people, and some of our people as well, see the Democrats as the pro-black and anti-man, pro-woman, pro-rainbow party, they don't see room for themselves in the party and vote non-Democrat. Even though both parties are terrible, but like you saw with the SNAP situation, the only one that even tries to act or portray like they care about Americans is usually the Dems, and we all know that. By the way, I'm ready for us to have 3 to 5 parties already, like the UK. But anyways, so this representation is a huge reason why the Democrats lost the election and interest in general amongst many Americans. Now, on the flip side, you might wonder why the Democrats overrepresent a community, which is the rainbow community, in their party, when in reality, this community is less than 10% in America, and most Americans are Christian. So why are they overrepresenting a community that's less than 10% and where most Americans are Christian? Well, it's because that's the Democrats' way of keeping black Dems and black independents from gaining too much recognition in the party, from rising too high. It's also a form of manipulation and control. They might let you rise and be in charge, but you have to agree with every agenda they tell you to. Otherwise, you don't progress forward with them. Prime example, Karine Jean-Pierre, the former White House press secretary for Joe Biden. She was black, check. Haitian, check. And lesbian, triple check. But was she truly best suited for that job? I think that's highly debatable if we're being real. So they are always trying to meet these quotas for their own agenda. And if you are black and you play into this either by choice or by force, they're okay with both, then you are advanced faster by them. This is the game, folks, okay? So they reduce our influence in the party by bolstering other groups such as rainbow and immigrants. And in turn, this distracts us from our fight for freedom to just be in our natural state, natural skin tone, natural hair texture. And we look up and, like I said, now we're fighting for same-sex rights, sexual rights over our human rights that in 2025 we still don't fully receive. So those are my 3 reasons, guys. Those are my 3 reasons for why the black and rainbow community are always grouped together. And that's the end of the video. If you stayed to the end, God bless you. Okay, you connected with the message. If you appreciate the video and feel like you just got downloaded on for real, give your girl a like and comment below so the video gets boosted in the algorithm, and share the video with a friend or 2. Of course, subscribe to get more downloads like this. And if you want to contribute to the channel, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. Thanks for tuning in to the Unspoken Why podcast. Always remember to ask why.